Thank you for being here. I just have to say I'm really disappointed in this administration's treatment of our immigrants and religious minorities and many others. I can't say I'm shocked. I listened to President Trump's rhetoric during the campaign, but I am disappointed, and I'm going to keep standing with these families across our country to fight back, whether we're talking about dreamers who've come out of the shadows to participate in the DACA program, or whether we're talking about TPS recipients who've been part of our communities for decades. There are families who are being torn apart at our borders today, and we're banning people from visiting our country merely because of their religion. So I just want to state I disagree with this administration on every step of the way. But I today wanted to focus my questions to you on one of the more damaging decisions. In December, acting in secret, ICE changed how it would treat pregnant women in their custody. And the new policy means that a lot more pregnant women will be stuck in detention for a longer period of time, often with inadequate support, whether it's nutrition or medical care or prenatal care. And in response to that, the American Academy of Pediatricians, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and the American Academy of Family Physicians wrote to you saying that detention, quote, puts the health of women and adolescents and their pregnancies at great risk. And they go on to explain something that should be obvious. Detention facilities do not offer the level of care that pregnant women need. Now, on top of the real consequences to these pregnant women, for months the departments didn't even tell Congress about this inhumane and dramatic policy change. And when this new policy change was finally posted on your website, the question and answer page included a question stating, and I quote, "Isn't detaining pregnant women a human rights abuse?" Well, your question and answer page raised the question, and I think the answer is pretty clear. When your department is doing something that is wrong and misguided and, in my opinion, cruel and an embarrassment to our country, I think it's wrong, and I really urge you to reverse course on this. I know it's wrong. I think you should, but I want to ask you a couple of questions about this. Can you truthfully tell us that detention facilities offer the same level of care to pregnant women as a hospital or other medical facility that's designed to care for pregnant women?
What I can tell you is we screen every female, for pregnancy from ages 18 to 56 when we encounter them. We provide them prenatal care. We provide them separate housing. We provide them specialists. We will take them to appointments if they need to go somewhere else. We provide them counseling, and we provide them religious.
Okay, but they are in detention facilities. Do you know how many pregnant women are detained today?
I don't know how many, no ma'am, but I will say the reason they're detained is because they illegally crossed our border.
Okay,
if they went to a port of entry, that would not be a crime. So I would like to encourage those who are pregnant.
Let me just tell you, I'm short on time. I have another question, but I will tell you, you're just trying to discourage pregnant women. They don't come here because they're pregnant.
No, I'm trying to encourage them from breaking the law. If they go to a port of entry, they have not broken the law. They can make their asylum claim.
But to put them in a detention center that is inhumane.
They broke the law. Yes, ma'am. We do not exempt classes. We enforce the law.
Inhumanely and cruelly.
Well, I will tell you, actually, they are given not only adequate care in facilities.
You and I will disagree on that point.
But it is much better care than when they're living in the shadows and they're not provided any care after entering our country illegally.
We obviously disagree, and let me just ask you another question, because this committee gets a lot of requests for additional funds to reprogram our funds or transfer funds due to overspending and a lack of fiscal discipline in your department. As you know, Congress, not this administration, sets your budget, and you have to live within the means that we give to you. And to me, far too frequently, it seems a big part of DHS overspending is caused by ICE unnecessarily detaining people, like we talked about, pregnant women. As you know, detention is really expensive. Every year, each year ICE detains someone. It costs taxpayers over $50,000. For comparison, by the way, that's 4 times the amount the federal government spends on each child in our public schools. So what this means is that taxpayers are now footing the bill for food, medical care, clothing, and the expensive prison contracts that ICE is using for detention, like the facility that's in my home state. To me, that's really inexpensible because there are less expensive and more effective alternatives to detention. And in fact, according to your own budget, to use one of the alternatives to detention costs less than $1,500 per year compared to that $50,000. So while you're asking for billions of dollars in additional funds to build the unnecessary border wall, hire more ICE and Border Patrol, expand detention, militarize the border, you're asking to cut funding for alternatives to detention in your budget. So why is the department not asking us to expand the use of alternatives to detention in order to save taxpayer money?
We are looking to do both. So as you know, one of the alternatives to detention is an ankle bracelet. We do utilize those in situations where appropriate. If somebody, however, has broken the law in the sense that there are multiple reentry or they have some other reason to be criminally prosecuted, we actually turn them over to the Marshals. We defer them over for prosecution, in which case there is no option for an alternate to detention. So if you look at all the numbers, we are trying to find ways to do it. But I do want to just say again, if you cross in between the ports of entry,
I know what your philosophy is. I'm out of time.
It's not a philosophy. It's a law Congress passed.
Well,
so we should encourage people to go to the ports if they need to come to seek asylum.
Expand the use of ATD. It seems to me it's cost payer saving and much more humane.
Thank you. Senator Langford.